First, the grace of Bob Dole in stark contrast to the extreme members of the current Republican Party. Over the weekend, we got a sampling from some of the far right's finest on the biggest issues in politics. First, on the big lie from Donald Trump, who once tweeted that he's, quote, like really smart. Remember that? Well, on Saturday, he either finally admitted that he lost the 2020 election or he called himself stupid, releasing a statement that read, quote, anybody that doesn't think there wasn't massive election fraud
in
the 2020 presidential election is either very stupid or very corrupt. Watch out for those double negatives, Mr. Former Guy. On COVID, this time it's Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, who tweeted a thread complaining about the country's response to the virus and comparing the virus to cancer. Quote, every single year, more than 600,000 people in the U.S. die from cancer. The country has never once shut down. Not a single school has closed. And every year, over 600,000 people of all ages and races will continue to die from cancer.
This is really too simple, isn't it? Unless you're like really extraordinarily simple. This is way too simple, of course. Many pointed out, it seems the Congresswoman thinks cancer is a contagious respiratory disease, but it's not, Mika.
And on gun violence, Congressman Thomas Massie tweeting out the epitome of a gun fetish. This family photo of everyone holding a long gun and the caption, Merry Christmas, P.S. Santa, please bring ammo. A mere 4 days after the deadly school shooting in Michigan. And then, Joe, over the weekend, you tweeted about the stance of many in the Republican Party when it comes to the sanctity of life. Quote, too many politicians act as if life begins at conception and ends at birth. They claim the mantle of life, but promote a culture of violence, a war on medicine, an obsession with executions, a refusal to support overwhelmingly popular gun safety laws, and massive Pentagon budgets. They oppose even the most basic safety net guarantees and fight an endless war against decent health care for all Americans. If supporting a guarantee for health care is socialist, then Margaret Thatcher was a socialist. Hint, she was not.
Well, and of course she wasn't. But you go back through all of these things, and of course it was all a big wind-up. Just looking at the weekend, how we are seeing, especially Kevin McCarthy's House delegation, go more extreme, more hateful. And the contrast, and Craig Shirley was talking about it this weekend with Bob Dole, a gentleman who understood that you could be a conservative without checking your decency at the front door, without being hateful, without being spiteful. You're talking about compassionate conservatism. That was Bob Dole. But here I find I don't even say the guy's name because I don't want to give more credence. But I have had to hear as a Christian for decades, people yapping on and on about a war on Christmas. Of course, it's like a war on masculinity. If you are a Christian and you're concerned because somebody puts Xmas up somewhere and there are going to be 87 segments about that, I mean, come on. It's not really much of a faith, is it? You really don't really have that strong of a faith in Jesus Christ. If that shakes you, because that has nothing to do with Christianity any more than this all of this garbage that we're seeing here, like the war on Christmas. You want a war on Christmas? You look at that picture. Again, a picture I don't want to show. A picture I feel sorry for the guy's family.
Yeah.
So I don't want to show their faces. But there is nothing that's been done over the past years by city councils that really does more violence to the very essence of what Christmas celebrates than that picture. And it comes, of course, from the party that's been whining about a war on Christmas for decades to drive up ratings or drive up whatever, try to get votes. But imagine that. It's hard for me too, but these are such bizarre times. But if you read the Bible and you read the red letters and you understand what Christmas celebrates, it's the coming of a Savior who is called what? The Prince of Peace. The Prince of Peace. Who talks about blessed are the meek, blessed are the poor in spirit, blessed are those who hunger and thirst for right. Blessed are all of the things that this party has stopped being, at least the extreme members of this party. No grace. No, blessed are the peacemakers. None of that shows up in so much of this, but especially in that Christmas card, which I don't know if that was meant to own the libs. It didn't own the libs. I mean, it owned people who actually understand who Jesus Christ is. If you're a Christian, that's who it would deeply offend.